Happy Friday, everybody. Um, I was just thinking this week we had our documentation party last night with the parents, the families of the preschool, and just thinking what a privilege it is to work in a school that is a free school, that is a democratic school. What that really means is that you can organize for a radio approach that is context specific, so you can listen to what the parents are saying about the experience of the school. You can listen to what your instinct says, your research says about how children learn, and you can watch the children and gauge their plug-in and their level of well-being, and then make decisions without any red tape or bureaucracy. Make decisions that will optimize the learning, the feeling of well-being in a school where there isn't a million forms to fill out. It's a privilege, and it's a wonderful place to work in where you're not fighting against the system the whole time. So how do you organize for radio? This is something that we've been asking ourselves, and Kath has been asking us too. How do you organize for radio? Well, in a million ways, but one of the ways that we've recently changed in the preschool, we started the year out with 2 classes, an artillerista, and 2 classes, each with a teacher and assistant. And then Kath joined us, a new teacher, and there was for a while a time where we were in a transitional zone of should we make 2 classes into 3 classes, asking the parents, opening that out, and a time of perhaps research, what would it look like, and then eventually deciding to make 3 classes together with the parents and together with the children, and together with our thoughts on what we see. So what we have now is a preschool that has 3 classes, each with a teacher and assistant, and then with an art artillerista as well. And what that has gifted us with is the gift of time with all the children. So we don't have classes where children are sitting in their classroom the whole day long with one teacher and one assistant. What we've done is we've organized and arranged for those 3 classes to be with each teacher at some stage in the week, 2 or 3 sessions, what we're calling them now, sessions with a teacher who also has a language, who also has their intelligences. They also have their things that they are masters in. So with Anitra's class, I mean, who better to teach the children about the languages of music and movement, drama and dance. With my class, it's very much the flavor of it is very much about philosophical thinking, about socio-emotional development, and also literacy and numeracy. So those are the flavors, I would say, of the class. Not that it's compartmentalized in any way. And then Kath has brought a very interesting perspective. She has brought in the science, the art, the nature, mathematical thinking, food atelier, food court. Her classroom is a classroom of light and shadow, and we're bringing the digital into that classroom, but then it also flows through into the food atelier and the food court. So when we choose to, this can sound quite scattered if children are, hither and thither between all the classes, but actually what has happened is that we have chosen as a umbrella inquiry this trees rights inquiry. And what's happened now is that all the children are fervently questing after information, knowledge, ideas about one thing, which can be many things, about trees, but through the perspectives of all of these different languages, through the language of dance, for example, or movement, where children will extend their thinking about trees by, reenacting the growth process from a seed all the way to a tree, and then what the philosophical perspective of trees in my classroom is, if trees could talk, what would they say? Invoking the empathic response in children, and through Kath, looking more at the science of it, the biology, the botanics of it, of trees and trees in ecosystems and that. So I just think it's been an incredible experience to be so responsive, to live in work in a responsive environment where you can make changes democratically, collaboratively, make changes towards a richer experience for everybody. So what we have now is children who have access to all of the teachers with their master crafts. So they have these kind of master classes in dance or movement or philosophy or reading or writing or science, botany, ecology, food, etc., etc., and of course the arts, with chess in the atelier. So yeah, this is just a little bit of feedback. Thank you all for your responses and for your input, and here we are at the other end of this transitional period, I think all for the better. Thanks very much for those who came to the documentation party. We loved your input, and for it is something to build on as we go on in this inquiry into trees and rights.